It's been a long day waiting for this. So let me share my screen. Can everyone see this when it comes up? Okay, right. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of purple hexagons. Okay. Thank you all for waiting. I just want to give a massive shout out. I have a lot of clients, a lot of family and friends logging into this. So hello, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Sheree, and my study was evaluating the effect of myofascial release on Parkinson's related tremor. I'm an international sports and clinical massage therapist. I qualified in 2015 after being an athlete in rifle shooting for 13 years. The reason why I picked Parkinson's was I met one of my first ever clients, Roger, who is on here, big shout out to Roger, who was undiagnosed Parkinson's at the time. And we did some work and it helped his tremor. And that was about three or 4 years ago. And I got hooked. I wanted to know more about Parkinson's and how I could help. Roger then let me be introduced to the Welsh Parkinson's football team, which I then worked alongside and helped them. So when I joined Jing, I knew straight away that in 3 years' time, my project was going to be on Parkinson's. Parkinson's is a condition that affects the brain nerve cells in the substantia nigra part of the brain. This leads into a reduction of the chemical called dopamine. So if you see the hexagons with the little wiggly lines, that is the molecular structure of dopamine, which is why I chose hexagons as my PowerPoint. They constantly contract, and tremor is one of their main symptoms. So my theory was myofascial release would help relax them and calm their central nervous system. So why is it needed? Around 145,000 people live with Parkinson's disease in the UK. 70 to 90% of them will experience PD-related tremor at some point in their journey. Surveys show that 25% are first misdiagnosed. Medication is used to aid the symptoms, but no cure has been found. So a non-medicated approach is needed. It is more prevalent in men. It's 1.5 times more likely in men than it is women, for reasons unknown. But there were previous studies on trying to improve the quality of life for people living with PD. So I wanted to build on that. I know Jackie from Jing last year did an amazing study on it. My goal for the study was to have a 6-week protocol that I could teach to other therapists to give respite to the symptom of tremor for people living with PD. I used 2 instruments. Now, my teacher told me not to do that, and I agree with her now, a year later. I'll tell you more about that after, but yes, Susan, there is my hat off to you. So it's a degenerative disease. So all I know is that I could give respite to symptoms. I couldn't necessarily cure this. So my method was a 6-week control period followed by a 6-week intervention period of weekly 1-hour massages. I had 5 male participants, white Caucasian, who all played sport, had an activity or hobby relating to, that they could get involved in with Parkinson's. The treatment was hands-on only. It utilised hot stones and myofascial release techniques across the limb or limbs that were affected by PD-related tremor. A broad treatment, so the whole body was treated just to bring their central nervous system down. Then we isolated and went back to the limb or limbs that were affected by the tremor, and then we'd finish with more of a global approach. It was on a heated bed, calm environment, and the same relaxing music was played each week. If you want the protocol for my treatment, then just let me know. So the results. So I'm going to kind of go through them because my results didn't work. 20 other people today said that their results worked and mine kind of did, kind of didn't. So there's a lot of information on the page, and I'll talk you through very quickly. The physical tremor over the 12 weeks, showed a 13.3% decline, but it didn't hold 1 month on. Interestingly, communication skills improved by 18.75%. And now there's been a lot of talk on therapeutic alliance today. And I wonder if just having that openness with a client and them allowed to communicate with how their Parkinson's affects them, resulted in that. It wasn't something I was specifically looking at, but the questionnaire that I used concentrated on about 4 or 5 different areas. The psychology of the tremor, so their approach to the tremor decreased by 6.1. But here are the 2 that made the biggest difference. So the Quest hobbies, so Quest is the questionnaire, their ease of hobby participation showed a 64.7 decrease in difficulty. Now, this is why you shouldn't use 2 questionnaires for anyone in the next year group, because the PDQ exercise questionnaire is the other one that I use, and that showed a 2.94 increase in difficulty when exercising. So I had a little bit of conflicting results. One of my clients, Kate, who is listening, Kate, I hope you've looked at my data and you can make it look better than I did. But the ease of hobby participation, it makes me think, okay, how do you define a hobby to exercise? So maybe I should be a little bit clearer in the future. So yeah, a little bit of improvement on communication and ease of hobbies, and we'll just ignore the other one. So my thoughts and conclusions. I had a surprise result. Now, this was not something that I expected, but on the last week, the first participant wanted to have their own music. He didn't like the whale music that I was playing, and he listened to Bob Dylan. The statistics weren't showing much of a change, so I thought, nah, okay, we'll let him listen to his own music. Whilst playing their own music, the first guy got off the bed, and what was happening is you were having an hour massage, tremor would disappear for that whole hour. The respite was given. As soon as I said, there we go, we're all finished, in whatever way or tone of voice, the tremor instantly came back. When he had his own music on, it didn't come back as frequent or as vibrant of a shape. Now, here's the sciencey bit that I'm going to have to try and really get right. When you are living with PD, your central nervous system is in constant fight or flight. A massage will put your parasympathetic nervous system into play, so your body calms down. My theory is that the contrast between the massage finishing, going from parasympathetic nervous system to seeing like your central nervous system, is too much of a contrast. By listening to their own music, their brain was preoccupied with something that they had familiarity with. So it kept their central nervous system kind of ticking by with that, but their body was in a parasympathetic nervous state. It's a brainwave activity thing. So you've got alpha and beta brainwaves. So that was a surprise result. I then continued that without telling him for the other 4 participants, and about 80 or 90% all had the same results, where the tremor just seemed less frequent or less kind of active straight after. So my limitations were that it was a small group of participants and there was no funding for this, so it was done within my average working week. The variation of Parkinson's symptoms on top of tremor is a lot. So there's a lot of influence between whether they didn't sleep the night before, whether they've had an upset stomach, or there's over 49 symptoms of Parkinson's. That's just one of them. So the dependent variables were high, medication timings. Future research, obviously larger scales would be great, a more homogeneous group of participants. So it'd be very hard to single out just one symptom of Parkinson's. So it'd be very hard to find a questionnaire that kind of concludes just one thing. But hopefully collaboration with Parkinson's charities would do that in the future. And future research into music therapy and brainwave patterns whilst having massage would be my next future project. One of my participants actually said to me that Parkinson's tremor is electrical at 5 megahertz. Could this be added to massage therapy at certain trigger points? He got extra brownie points for that. Okay, so that is basically it from me. I just want to shout out to all my clients. I wrote all your names down, but there's lots of you, so I'm just really, really grateful for everyone that came and tuned in. So whilst the graphs didn't predict what I wanted, I didn't get a 6-week protocol that I could teach people. Subjectively, all the feedback was great. As you can see on the screen, there's a couple of testimonials. And if you want to have a copy of my dissertation, just message me on Facebook or Instagram on Podium Therapies. Luke is my amazing website guy who is listening. Luke, you are a legend. He's about to put my new blog on this afternoon, which will have awesome information on. Now, I need a drum roll, because there's some clues on my presentation right now. There is some red, white and blue fireworks. There's a birthday cake, because it's my birthday. So cheers. And there's a cherry on top of my cake. So I had some very, very good news a couple of months ago. There's a little American flag on there as well. So my big news is I am being published in America. Oh, getting emotional. So I had an email a few weeks ago saying, "Dear Dr. Phelps," which I did say that I wasn't a doctor. I'm being published at the International Congress of Parkinson's Disease and Movement Disorders in Philadelphia in the US. So in September, straight after graduation, I will be getting on a plane, and I've been asked to present my results by a poster presentation in the Congress in Philadelphia, which I'm quite nervous about. I've also been put in Massage World magazine and the International Therapist magazine, which is coming out this month. Now, I'm going to be really, really, really quick and come out of my slides that is going up. Now, Kate is going to make it look even better for me. But that is the kind of thing that will be presented in America, which I'm very excited about. And it's been killing me that I've had to keep this quiet for the last 2 months. So that is me. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. And thank you for my family as well, by the way.
Yeah, well done. Well done, Sheree. Really great.
Well done. Well done, Sheree. Oh, you did so well.
So great around learning from things. And I have to say, though, do you think that if you had a larger sample, you would have gotten the same results?
I don't know. Having a larger sample, I think the inclusion criteria would have to be a lot more specific. There would have to be almost like a pre-questionnaire to make sure that the group is homogenous. And it was tremor, was it dystonia, was it dyskinesia, and stuff like that. So it's really
it'll be really interesting working with the Parkinson's associations in the States and kind of, you know, what they're going to drill down to, because you're effectively offering up case study, which is really, really helpful and really, you know, inspirational and fantastic. And I think, you know, good for you and good for everyone, you know, and it's understanding that these communities are communities, you know, need research, want to be seen, want to spread the word. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.